This is a story of espionage, where the fate of a nation literally hangs on a perfectly crafted lie. So let's get right into it, because this one question is at the heart of everything we're about to unpack. This isn't just a fun historical anecdote. We're talking about a high-stakes deception that didn't just alter one battle, it actually helped set the course for the world's first ever Black Republic.
All right, to really get what's going on with this lie, you've got to understand the world it came from. So let's go back to December 1799. We're in the French colony of Saint-Domingue. This place is, no exaggeration, the most profitable colony on the entire planet. They called it the Pearl of the Antilles. But paradise? It's on fire, completely engulfed in a brutal civil war.
So you're probably wondering, just how rich are we talking? Well, get this. At its peak, this one tiny colony was churning out a staggering 60% of all of the world's coffee and half of its sugar. To put that in perspective, it was making more money for France than all 13 American colonies combined made for Great Britain. This wasn't just some island, it was a massive economic engine. But, and this is a huge but, that incredible wealth was built on something truly horrific. All of it was extracted from the forced labor of 500,000 enslaved people. Their rebellion against these brutal conditions is what sparked the Haitian Revolution, a fire that was now burning the whole colony to the ground.
So by 1799, things get even messier. The revolution turns into a full-blown civil war. They called it the War of Knives, which tells you just how vicious the fighting was. On one side, you've got Toussaint Louverture, this brilliant general of the formerly enslaved. He wants a single united Saint-Domingue. And on the other side, his rival, André Rigaud, who controls the southern part of the colony and wants to run his own show. You've got two incredibly powerful leaders with two visions that just cannot coexist.
And right into the middle of all this chaos steps one guy. Just one person who seems totally out of place. An American sailor who just so happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or maybe it was the perfect place.
Now this is super important. You have to understand that the United States was actually involved here, but kind of on the down low. See, the Americans had secretly picked a side, Louverture's, hoping for some sweet trade deals. So their navy, including this ship, the USS General Greene, is literally blockading the port of Jacmel, which is a key city for Rigaud's army. They're basically trying to starve them out.
So imagine you're in Jacmel. The city's desperate, it's under siege, and suddenly one of Rigaud's officers comes in with some shocking news for his commander. They found an American behind their lines, a young sailor named Michael McCoy, of all places, caught in a brothel.
Except McCoy isn't just some sailor looking for trouble. Turns out, he's playing a part. He's not just a midshipman, he's actually an operative for the U.S. State Department. He was sent on a secret mission by the top American diplomat in the region to gather intelligence on Rigaud's army. So getting captured, in a weird way, it was kind of part of the plan. And the man who captures him? That's General Alexandre Pétion, Rigaud's top commander in Jacmel. Now this guy is a genius strategist, a brilliant artilleryman trained in France's best military schools. And as he's looking out at that American warship sitting in his harbor, he knows his situation is basically hopeless, unless he can find a way to change the game entirely.
I mean, just try to put yourself in Pétion's shoes for a second. The situation is, well, it's impossible. Louverture's most ruthless general, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, has him totally surrounded and outnumbered 2-1. That American blockade means no food, no ammo, no backup is getting through. The city is literally starving. For Pétion, fighting a straight-up battle is suicide. He needs a different kind of weapon.
And this is his weapon. Not a cannon, not a rifle, a piece of paper. Pétion shows his trump card to the captured American spy, McCoy. It's a letter, supposedly from Louverture to Napoleon Bonaparte himself. And look at what it says. It outlines a secret plot to invade the United States. It's an incredible forgery, a masterpiece of disinformation designed to do one thing: turn the Americans against Louverture.
You know, Pétion was pretty blunt about his philosophy here. He later admitted the letters were complete forgeries, but in his mind, a lie was just as valid a weapon of war as a cannonball. He was totally willing to wreck this American spy's career if it meant saving his city and his soldiers.
So the trap is set. Pétion makes a deal with McCoy. I'll give you this bombshell letter, he says, if you can get that American warship to leave the harbor for just a few days, just long enough for my supply ships to sneak in. McCoy, thinking he's just hit the intelligence jackpot of a lifetime, totally agrees. McCoy, thinking he's about to become a hero, just bolts.
He runs straight to the top American diplomat, a Dr. Edward Stevens, who just so happens to be spending Christmas at Louverture's private home. Bursting with pride, McCoy slams the treasonous letter down. In this incredibly tense meeting, they confront Louverture and basically accuse him of plotting to invade the very country that's helping him win his war. And what does Louverture do? He reads it, and he just laughs. He tells them it's a total fake, and then, and this is the best part, he gives this young spy a masterclass in how to spot a forgery. He points out the tiny but critical difference between regular old parchment, which is made from goat or sheepskin, and the much, much nicer vellum that he uses for all his official letters, which comes from the skin of young calves.
And here it is, the checkmate moment. Louverture just calmly lays it all out, using his own reputation for being, well, a bit fancy, as the ultimate proof. He basically asks McCoy, seriously, do you really think I, the Governor-General of Saint-Domingue, would send a letter to the leader of France on anything but the absolute best, most expensive material I could find? The room goes quiet. The game is over.
Okay, so the lie is exposed, right? Case closed. But wait, the story is far from over. Because in a war, sometimes a lie that fails can be even more powerful than one that succeeds. The fallout from this one moment would change everything for every single person involved.
So let's just break down what happens next. For Pétion, his little trick actually works. For a bit. The American ship does leave, and he gets just enough time to bring in desperately needed supplies. The siege goes on. For poor McCoy, it's an absolute disaster. He's completely humiliated, sent back to the States, and his career is over. But for Louverture, this is a golden opportunity.
And this is where things get really fascinating. You see, Pétion won the battle. He got his supplies, right? He bought his men a few more weeks. But Louverture was playing a much bigger game. By proving his loyalty and exposing this plot, he won the entire war.
See, up until this point, the American help was kinda unofficial, hush-hush. But after this whole forgery mess, the U.S. goes all in. The top commander of the U.S. Navy in the Caribbean meets personally with Louverture, and in a move that is just unheard of, he agrees to place American naval ships, including the General Green, directly under Louverture's command. Pétion's desperate lie completely backfired and handed his enemy the full power of the United States Navy. Which brings us all the way back to the beginning, doesn't it? Pétion was a tactical genius, a master of setting traps on the battlefield. But Louverture proved he was the master strategist, a guy who could beat his enemy's best weapon, not with a sword, but with a simple lesson on the quality of paper. It really makes you wonder, where are the most important battles actually won?